here's an uplifting way to start a show, any show. Well, this is a great way to do it. This will engage the audience right away. Get ready for this one. I'm not excusing the shooters. No way. Wait, what? Yeah, I know. I just feel compelled to say that. I almost feel compelled to say it every 10 words. But I just want to get that out there now because I know how people are going to hear what they want to hear. I'm not excusing the shooters. Plural, unfortunately. I know all about concussion problems and all that comes with it. Shooting people is not okay. No excuse. Not going there. I don't think. But you're going to connect the dots and say, but Jeff, I think you're going there. It's an issue. Okay? I bring it up because I think after the Louisville shooting a few days ago, and I know that people don't want to pay attention to this. And in the Louisville shooter was a young guy, shot up the bank. You know that by now. But I don't think it's that far removed because he is going to end up, the families are going to end up probably in a similar place to the guy I'm about to talk about. And, did I not say I'm not excusing the shooters? But the concussion issue is about to have gas poured on it. And probably for pretty good reason. I'm not going to dismiss the ease in which messed up people get assault rifles. Not dismissing that part of this either. You don't kill a half a dozen people in a matter of seconds with a hammer or knife. So I'm not dismissing that. I'm not arguing that. I bring it up because the terrifying reality of concussions is now, it's made its way to the place we all hate, the place we're all, there's no way we're numb to it. I don't like hearing people say, well, we're just numb to this stuff. No, we get it. We hear it. Our face hurts. We don't have a response when it happens so often. But you need to get ready for this part. You need to hear it. You need to decide what you think. You need to prepare yourself for it. And it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be awkward. It's going to hurt really badly. The reality of concussions are now being tied to shooters. And don't be shocked if this exact story I'm about to tell you about does not come up with the Louisville shooter, who is dead. Both of them young men in this story are dead. Now you're going to say, well, what do we do? What do we do? I mean, so what? You're going to bring up concussions and shooters. So what? Well, my answer, just so you know, I don't know, but it's a factor. I say that as a person who doesn't sleep well and has spent far too much time in an MRI tube. So extra sensitive to the issue? Yeah, probably. But I didn't bring this one up. This one's coming your way. So you better get ready, and you better start to think exactly how you're going to feel when you end up on one of these juries. 2 shooters, 2 concussion stories. And they're backed up by the science. ESPN.com. The father of a former NFL player who fatally shot 6 people before killing himself is suing the school where his son played football. An autopsy eventually diagnosed Philip Adams with an unusually severe form of degenerative brain disease known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy. It's called CTE, which has been shown to cause violent mood swings and memory loss. Alonzo Adams says South Carolina State University, and that part of this is important too, okay? I mean, I can tell you all about the NFL concussion lawsuits and how the NFL masterfully got itself out of the concussion lawsuits. You know who's not gotten themselves out of it yet? Colleges. You know who also has not gotten themselves out of it yet? High schools. So, you can say, I don't believe it. You can say it's a bogus excuse. You can say all that stuff you want. I think you also need to realize this is circling its way back to colleges and high schools, because that's where these families of these shooters are saying the evidence says he was a mess. It's pretty obvious they were a mess. Got it. We all got that. Again, I'll say it. I'm not excusing the shooters. This is really going to be about the severity of concussion lawsuits. It's going to be about the responsibility of concussions. I don't think many people are going to be able to hide from it. All right, so this is the family of a guy. I know, sadly, we've had too many shooters, too many young men shooting people up. You don't even remember this guy. It wasn't that long ago. He played in the NFL, and he was a mess. And the MRIs say he was a mess. Alonzo Adams, which is the father, says South Carolina State University did not follow safety protocols or properly train employees to treat the sustained head trauma that his son suffered during a college career that lasted from 2006 to 2009. Now, he also played in the NFL for a few years. And in fact, at one period, they measured 2 concussions in 3 weeks. The alleged negligence, carelessness, recklessness, willfulness contributed to Adams' death following the 2021 mass shooting in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Police found Adams with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. He had suffered head trauma during his 6 years as a professional football player, according to the lawsuit. The 3-game span in which he played for the, I guess then would have been Oakland Raiders in 2012, Adams had 2 concussions. The local coroner has said the family told investigators that Adams complained of excruciating injury-related pain. He had issues with his memory and struggled to sleep. His sister tells the USA Today that after the killings, he killed 6, I think. After the killings, the family had noticed concerning signs of rapidly deteriorating mental health. Because he didn't retire by 2014, he would not have been eligible for testing included in a broad settlement between the league and the former players over long-lasting concussion-related injuries. So I guess he didn't get in on the concussion suit nor the test that went with it as part of a NFL-related concussion settlement, which was settled now a couple of times. The NFL owners got out of that what they needed to get out of it. And that is, here's I think it got escalated to $1 billion. Former players were suing and saying that their concussions were not treated properly, were not treated quickly enough. They were sent back into games. They suffered lingering problems. And the truth is, they're right. And the other part of it is the medical world probably didn't know enough. That's the truth about that, the science of it. The issue here is, well, there's a bunch of issues. Or you can do with it whatever you want. But a part of it is, a big part of this is new territory now in the concussion battle. It's new territory in that now you've got these young men who've been shooting people up and then studied, and they've got CTE. He had it. I bring it up in response to the Louisville shooter. This young guy, guess what? He had multiple concussions. He wore a padded helmet when he played basketball because he had suffered so many concussions. So I'm just saying this is something newsworthy that we're not going to be able to run from. And that is, this guy, I think, this family now has opened up Pandora's box about coming back after colleges and after high schools, and doing so in the most dramatic, disturbing, messed up cases that we know of, and that is mass shooters. What is odd about this, and maybe just hasn't happened yet, but surely you can connect the dots. So the family of the shooter is now suing the school over concussions. Wouldn't you think that the families of the victims would probably do the same? Right? And I bring it up, and it's in the news now, not just because of the suit, but it's because of the suit and the timing of the suit in relation to the Louisville shootings, in which that guy's family and friends have said he suffered multiple concussions as well. Is it an excuse? Did I not say, no, it's not an excuse? There are plenty of us that have concussions, have had plenty of concussions that don't run around shooting people. Got it. The bigger issue is, sooner or later, this issue was going to come back to colleges. And I think sooner or later it was going to come back to high schools. And then it comes down to the public saying, I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what to believe. I don't know. And it's going to have an impact on playing football. The numbers of kids that play football are going to reduce. You attach this high-profile psychotic story of a guy that had, quote, severe CTE. And please don't laugh it off as junk science. It's very real. Doesn't excuse the shooters, but it's real. And so you now connect these dots, I think this thing goes to a new level. I think the reaction by the public goes to a new level. I think the reality of the lawsuits coming forward in such a new and disturbing way is reality. Now, you can do with it what you want. You can say, you know what? I can see an argument to be made that the guy suffered CTE. The guy, maybe they didn't know and were negligent in the way they handled him because he kept playing. I mean, the NFL has found its way out of this. The NFL is not going to get in trouble for playing him 2 weeks in a row when he had concussions. Not right now, but the school might. And you can decide for yourself if you think there's some merit to that. If you think that's where you want to go. And then I'm not going to be shocked if you don't hear the same sorts of arguments about the Louisville shooter, and that would include the victims' families as well. Because you got two guys now in the news in a matter of 6 days. In both cases, the families and/or I think eventually the victims are going to say concussions played a part of this. Doesn't excuse them. They're dead. They're dead. We can't do anything to them now. The question is, what responsibility are you ready to say belongs on the colleges and high schools?